shoot, here I am lint rolling my shirt and I don't even notice what the camera said. Hi. I look at chat and everyone's like, it's time. And I'm like, okay. Whoops. Just trying to get all the cat hair off my black shirt. Anyway, how is everyone? Oh, it's chilly in here. It's so cold. Hi, everyone. Brandon was like, you ran up the stairs. You're going to be winded. I'm like, yeah. Whoops. I had to get a drink. We're in the studio. Yeah, we're in the studio. We're going to be painting today. This is turned around on purpose because I know I've explained it in a video, but thought I'd explain it again. Jimmy says, I watched the Earthbound documentary. Great. We've not seen it yet. I've seen the trailer and I've seen a few other things about it, but we're going to watch it as a group probably. Oh, shoot. We wanted to watch it. I have to message the group. Someone remind me to message the group about that later. I need to do that. Probably when Alex and Haley feel better. For one, yes. For one, yes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't you and Steven interviewed for it ages ago? Yes, we were. Facebook says all 7 of you can watch it together. Yeah. Yeah. Gotta message the group about that. I'm gonna get started on reading the alerts in a second, but I need to do something so it can start drying. And I did go for like an hour bike ride, so I did that and had a piece of pie and then got the studio ready. So it's been a little today. So this canvas is loose, and I know I've talked about this in a video. So what I mean by that is like, it has a lot of give to it. And it should have some give because it's stretched here, but it should be more like a drum head and less like a trampoline, I guess. So what I want to do is I want to tighten this up. And sometimes on canvases, they're not stapled right here, and they just fit together, and they stay together because of the tension of the canvas. This one's not. This one's been stapled permanently. So what I need to do is it only needs a little bit of tightening, so I'm just going to spritz the back of it. And then just make sure I got actually all of it wet. And then we're gonna let that dry. And then we'll see how dry it is in a few minutes. All right. Sorry, I haven't been in here in a while, so like trying to remember where things are set up. Is that just water? Yes, this is just water, plain water. We have 5-month resub from Barbarian Rex. Thank you. 8 months from Harumi Kindle. 7-month resub from Gel89. 3 months from The Great Perhaps. 4 months from Nin Morning. And also 300 bits who says, hello all, I am at my hotel. I had dinner at a restaurant and now I'm relaxing. Awesome. Glad you could join us and relax tonight. I hope you had a good dinner. I have not eaten yet, but I think we're gonna have leftover beef stew that I froze from 2 weeks ago when I made beef stew. I froze it. Noah says, drink it. Chaz says, a little for the canvas, a little for me. This has been in here since I last painted. I probably don't want to drink that. 8-month resub from the Cactusay. 6 months from Curedulia. 200 bits from Handsewn Mama. 8-month resub from Winparthia. People are hitting 8 months. 8 months from Prelio7. A subscription from Seth Amethyst. Welcome. No, it's a stagnant water. Even better. I don't think it smells. I don't add anything to it. No, it's fine. It smells like plastic. We have an 8-month resub from Valix Butterfly. We're also in the middle of a level 5 hype train, so thank you all. 2 months from Green Day Rock. 8 months from Airdash 3K. 8 months from Charlemagne 25. 5 months from Ange Minge 85. Ange Min 85 resubbing at 5 months. Whew, sorry, I did It's been an evening. I feel like I'm waking up. We have a subscription from Jimmy RCG. Welcome. 7 months from Sapphire Becca. 9 months from Rowlet Hoot. 3 months from Miss Mace Windu. And 3 months from Elsimi82. Thank you. Thank you all for the resubs. Sapphire Becca says, you said you had 2 coffees. I did, but that was before noon, and I can't have coffee after noon. So, any of this energy I have is from the bike ride. Ultra Husk says, how are you doing, Mal? I'm doing well. I have had a really good day. This is my 3rd stream today, and I had a bike ride. So it has been a lot, but it's been a good day. Pikmin was fun. Breakfast stream was fun. I had a great lunch. I made a turkey, brie, and apple grilled cheese sandwich, and that was delicious. Noah says, so you're sleeping well tonight. Sure I am. And I got a decent amount of sleep. It's good. Jacebook says, have you thought about getting a Peloton, or do you prefer normal bikes? I do like being outside, so it would only be of use to me in extreme weather, like rain, snow, or 100-degree summer weather that's very humid. What was stream 2, Pikmin? Yes, Green Day Rocket was Pikmin. We also have an 8-month resub from Lunar Pearl. Thank you. Next week will sadly be the last Pikmin, maybe? Yeah. It's kind of looking like it, based on, you know, just seeing what's happening in the game and what's kind of left and what we're, like, completing for the achievement sort of things. It has been fun. Okay, this is dry, or dry enough. Like, it's a little damp here, I feel like. So I think we're good. Do you hear that? It didn't do that before. That's what we want. That is a well-stretched canvas. Are you square? You are square. For a second, it kind of fell forward on me, and I was like, what's wrong? But it's good. So, my plan for tonight is to paint for a bit. And I wanted to do... Vagabond, remind me in like 2 seconds after I explain this, and I'll answer that question about why water does that. I really wanted to do a painting with a bunch of washes, and I do that a lot when I paint still lifes. So I want to do a still life of different produce. Like I've done I did an Animal Crossing one, and then I did one for Stardew Valley. So I wanted to do something like that, and I didn't think ahead on this, so we're gonna just kind of figure it out as we go, which will be great. And in order to do that, I'm going to draw everything out, and then I'm going to do an underpainting. And then that will have to dry before I do anything else. And depending on how long that takes, I do have a backup. I have a second canvas over here. So if that doesn't take all that long, I'll do a sky for a different painting that I want to do. So that's my plan. My phone needs to go there away. Not a lighthouse? No, not a lighthouse. I did think about it, but maybe another time. All right. Vagabond asked, how and why does the water stretch it out? So when water like gets into the fibers, they kind of relax a little bit more, and then when it dries, they tighten back up. So that's what I was trying to do. And there's a product you can buy to do that, like I forget what it's called because the name is escaping me right now, but you can buy something like that too. But I find water does a pretty decent job. And even if you like gesso a canvas, like if I were to put another base layer of gesso on top of this, that would also tighten the canvas. So like in college, we had to stretch our own canvases where we wrap the stretcher bar and then staple. And you staple in a certain pattern. You do the centers, and then you work your way out a little bit on each side, staying on the opposite sides, and then you do the corners last. And you're trying to pull as tight as you can in order to get it as tight as you can, and then when you gesso that raw canvas, which looks like the backside, it's this yellowy look. This is what raw canvas looks like. So when you gesso this with the white, it also tightens it. So like you would try and get it as tight as you could. And on smaller canvases, it's easier because you can really pull. But on bigger canvases, it's a lot of fabric you're pulling. And one of the things I did in college was stretch a 5 by 8 foot canvas. So it was like 5 feet by 8 feet. And it took 4 of us to get that thing done because someone wanted to use it for something. So I helped out. And that was a process. That was very difficult. They make like special clamps to pull the fabric. But like something this size, you don't really need that. But I just buy already stretched canvases because it's easier. And I don't need a staple gun. Musi says, are store-bought canvases pre-gessoed? Sometimes. Most of the time they are. Like if they're white like this, they're gessoed. You can also buy them gessoed in black. So they are gessoed. These ones are. You can buy them raw too, where they're not gessoed. We have an 8-month resub from Tessa Jane 18. Thank you. Okay, so I want to start working on this. And I haven't cleaned off any of my palettes from last time because after I finished that painting, I just left everything alone, which is what I normally do. Because I use glass palettes and everything just kind of scrapes off those. So like I had been painting that bridge with the trees, and so I still have some of that green and like the black from that. So I just sprayed it with water and we'll let that soak because I'm not going to be painting quite this second because we're going to start by drawing. Renee. So like I said, I didn't give this a whole lot of thought. I thought I want to do a still life painting and I want to, there's something else I want to paint on the other one. So I have that one set, but I didn't think about any sort of like fruit and vegetables I wanted to put on this. So I'm open to suggestions after I find my chalk pastels, which are buried under my rulers. How many palettes do I have? I keep 3 palettes. And once I find this, I will... You're not dark enough. But you might be the darkest one I have. That's better. I'm gonna use that one. How about a pawpaw? That's a good idea. Pineapple. Ooh, persimmon. We were just talking about how I've never eaten a persimmon. These are all my chalk pastels. Any fruit not in Animal Crossing? A Minecraft crop still life would be neat. Ooh, that's an idea. So let me write down some of these that I think would be fun. Ooh, kiwi's a good idea. Kiwi. Because I could do like the inside, like a cut kiwi, because that's the cool part. Persimmon. I should write this on paper and not my wet palette. Kiwi. Pawpaw. Mango. Yeah, the mango would need some red. We're getting a lot of like oval fruit. Pineapple's good too. Ooh, dragon fruit. That's fun because they're pretty, but they don't taste all that great. Raspberries. Trying to think color-wise what else would be nice. Because we have what? Yellow, orange, yellow, red, pink, red, blueberries, or grapes. Maybe like a red, not a red, more like a purple grape. Or something, I want kiwi's green. Okay, I got enough to choose from. We'll start looking at a layout in a bit. Once I start drawing, I'll start drawing the one I like the most and then add from there. So palettes, while I wait on this one. I keep 3. So this was actually my college one, and I know that because I taped the back of it, so in case it broke, I wouldn't have glass all over the floor. It would hold it together mostly. So this is laminated tempered glass. And I forget who makes these. But this is all the colors I had from that last painting, so at some point I have to clean this off. And then this is my newer one. So I bought this one because I wanted something gray, because if you use a neutral gray, you can see your colors better instead of like the white palette. This is more true to how it will look in the end because it's neutralizing things a little bit, so you can see the brightness a lot better. So I use this one a lot for skies because of that, because that's my first thing I'm normally putting on a canvas. So I can see what the color is going to be better on this one. So I'll put this down to do my base stuff, and then I'll start working on the other ones, but I'll still keep my sky colors in case I need them for something. Renee says, those are fun colors. Yeah, it was a fun painting. It had some great colors. And then my third one is the same as the very first one, but I just don't have tape on it because I'm the one who has to deal with the glass if I break it, not anyone else. Oh, the stream went down. Did it? Is it back? Oh, stream, not just me. Did it? No, we good. We good? Okay. We're fine. So how I clean these is I just spritz them with water and I let them soak for a few minutes, and normally things come off pretty easy. It does make a horrendous noise sometimes, and Steven really hates it. But I don't think it's that bad. As long as I don't like accidentally really scratch the glass with this. And I'm using a X-Acto knife, not X-Acto knife, a box cutter blade. And as long as I hold it parallel and don't use the corner, I'm not going to scratch the glass. And I have scratched the glass a few times, but it doesn't really affect how good it works, I've noticed. And you can just see a little bit of those scratches and it's fine. It's something I'm using and I don't need to keep it perfect. It's not a painting, it's a palette. Perfect. So, all clean. And if I catch it in the light, there, like, this was my newer one, but you can see a little bit of the scratches, like above my fingers, probably. This is my nicer one, it's my newer one. But the back has this, like, lamination on it, and if paint gets on that, I've noticed that's not coming off. It's fine. So yeah, that's that one. This one I find, this is the wrong side, this is the right side. This one's harder to clean off. It has these rubber corners that, like, once they've gotten paint on them, they're like also permanently adhered. It's just there forever. This one is New Wave. This gray one. So those are the ones I use all the time. I have other things around somewhere. I have one of those Stay Wet palettes that have like the pad in it that keep your paint wet, and you put like a thing on top of it, like your palette, but not the glass ones. You put like a paper one. But I haven't found them to be like super great. I prefer like how I normally do things. All right, so my favorite idea is kiwi for this. And I like the idea of the kiwi being cut open so we can like see the kiwi. So I know they're round, but I'm still gonna pull up an image. Oh, there's an update for iPad. All right, kiwi cut open. And I'm probably not going to find exactly what I want, but I have enough of a reference to know what I'm looking at. Also, iPad, why are you not bright enough? That's better. Have you ever had a golden kiwi? I forget they exist. know if I ever have. What I really want is just to take a kiwi and open it like I want it to be. Instead I have to like not. This works. It's not quite as vibrant, like it's a little washed out for a photo, but I want this layout. Okay, we'll start by drawing kiwis. So, because there are, if I decide to do larger things, like if I decide to do the pineapple would be, no, not there, but like it would be pretty tall because it's bigger. So the kiwi would need to be a bit smaller. So that's not quite round enough. So I'm using a chalk pastel to draw because I can erase it easier. And I can use my hand to get most of it, but I can also use a wet washcloth to get the rest of it. So when I draw like this, I like to draw super sketchy because like it's not a perfect circle and I'm definitely not going to be drawing a perfect circle. Can we see this? Not really. Okay, well I'm going to do it real rough in this and then I'll go over it with a darker one a little bit. So once I'm sort of happy with it, like somewhere in here, there's like 5 different lines. Somewhere in there's the line I actually want. So once I go to the darker chalk pastel, I'll start to mark that in a little bit better. That's a little, I think I liked how I had it better before. Okay, so there's one half, and the other half will look a lot bigger because it's not getting foreshortened like that one is. That's totally wrong. So sometimes I'm drawing things and I'm like, yeah, circle, but like it needs to get foreshortened this way a little bit. So it needs to be a little bit more oval at the top. Because if we have a circle and we're doing this, the circle gets taller and not rounder. Because that makes us see the side of the kiwi a little bit better. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of do a little math to see if they're approximately the same size. And most of this is just eyeballing it to be like, well, did these come from the same kiwi? Does that look natural or not? And one of my problems right now is if this one sits here, this one's sitting here, and it should sit a little further back, but I don't know if it should sit this far back. So what I might do is I might shrink this one a little bit and bring it down a little bit at the same time. So that's really all over the place, but it will come together. So we have the core. And then what we'll have is we'll have all the radial spikes of the kiwi. So there's kiwi. What do I want to do next? I need something tall. Let's go look at pineapple and see if I feel like I can accomplish a pineapple painting. Chess says, this sounds like shapes. It's all geometry. Pineapple has such a good shape though, like because it's tall and we need something tall and it has like the fronds up top and then it's so spiky. That would be a good contrast to other stuff. I do like that though. Will I regret doing this later? Probably. Why do all the good creatings have math in it? Penguin Frog says, yeah, they do. Where'd my pineapple go? So my chalk pastel is dull. Cousin Ninja says, I hear pineapple. My first thought is Mal is painting the Suika game. We did talk about that at our meeting. I need something to put pencil shavings in. This will work. Pineapples are very shaped, King Kuran says. They are very shape. Everything is so much shape. Vagabond, I love shapes. Shapes are great. Everything has shape when you are drawing. So one of the things they really tried to drill into our heads when I was in drawing in college was that you need to draw what you see, not what you know. So like, I know kiwi is oval, but like I need to see exactly how oval, and I'm drawing the oval I see, not the oval I know in my head that the kiwi is. And I struggle with that sometimes. I'll just fight with a drawing and I'm like, why isn't this working? And then I realize what I'm doing wrong. I need a pencil sharpener? Nope. I have one. It's right here. I don't like using it. That's better. The chalk pastels do not do well in the pencil sharpener. I also find color pencils do not do well in the pencil sharpener, so I do not like to use those as well. I can also do a bit more of a point like that I want on this. I mean, it's not as pretty as a pencil sharpener will do. Okay, so if we have kiwi there, kiwi are going to be green and brown, obviously. So we should put the pineapple like over this way, and I'm realizing the kiwi are way too big now. Because I'm like, yeah, put the pineapple, and pineapples are like this big and kiwis are like this big. But these kiwis are huge. Cool, we'll draw the pineapple and I'll see how I feel about that. So they all kind of start from a central point. And when you grow pineapple, you can actually do this with pineapples from the store. You can take this top part and you just like twist it off, and then you peel off a few of the leaves like downwards. And eventually you'll find some roots, and they're like little tiny knobs that are starting, and you can put them in some water until they grow a little bit longer, and then you can put them in dirt, and it takes like 2 years to make a pineapple. Okay, so like you see how big this is? Like if I'm gonna fit the full pineapple on here, the kiwi are way too big. So I'm gonna redraw those eventually. So this should be about the same width as the greenery. And they're like slightly rounded rectangles. They kind of remind me of weird pumpkins, like just in shape alone. Yeah, kiwi are way too big. That's fine. We will erase them, and we will try again. We have a 3-month resub from Enzuni and 7 months from Twilight Cat 24. Thank you both. Just turn the kiwis into an orange. Ooh, that's tempting. I still think they're too big though. No, I love Big Kiwi. I love Big Kiwi too. They're one of my favorite things. So we will just erase them. So this is just wet towel with the same water that I used to clean the palette. And then we'll give that a second. Kase Ninja says, I wish kiwis were bigger in real life. Yeah, kiwis are good. Gone, irreversible loss. Star Jetty, that's what it's about. One of the things I struggle with, and I think a lot of artists do too, is the fear of ruining something. Like if you're painting and you're like, I'm gonna mess this up, and then everything is messed up. It's really hard because, like Sapphire Becca says, Control Z does not exist in physical art. At least not with like painting sometimes. Like there's ways to mess this up. I mean, right at the second, no, but at some point there will be a point where it's like, oh no, if I mess this up, I mess up everything. I'm just trying to get the water spread out so it can dry faster. MCL Blue says, one of my art teachers used to say constantly, get unattached. Yeah, so like a good thing to try sometimes is just to paint knowing that you are going to destroy it in the end. And then, you know, destroy it in the end. And that can be really hard because it's like, oh, but I like this. So like one of my hopes for myself is in the next year is to be able to do some things and take a little bit more risks that I normally don't take. Because sometimes like I'll be painting and I'll be like, well, look how beautiful everything is. Can't ruin this. And it's a lot of stress on myself to put that on myself. So I want to be able to do some more of that sort of thing for myself. All right, let's draw these kiwi again, much smaller. So pineapple, yay big. Kiwi, yay big. So kiwi approximately yay size. Let's actually do this. Too big. Also, I think I want them far forward. Pineapple, this line, kiwi. No. See, you have to have a good grouping. That's the thing about a still life. So I'm doing this real rough. This isn't as nice as the first ones. I will fix them later. But I think I need to do a rougher grouping so I get the size down this time and not mess it up. Okay, that's kiwi for now. What else do we want to do? I think color-wise, because this is green, and these are going to be green with the brown, and then this is green, I think we need something brighter. So dragon fruit is really good, but I don't want to put spiky next to spiky. So dragon fruit might be better back here. Persimmon right here. Or grapes. Ooh, lemon is good. What do I want to do? There is some yellow here. Pomegranate would be nice. Any plans for another nail painting stream, Cyber Snake says. It is something I would like to do. I chipped all of these already. Most of them, actually. And then I broke one of my nails yesterday, and it hurt really bad. Lemon and pineapple are both yellow. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Let's see. Someone said pomegranate. Let me go double check what those look like. I know what they look like, but I need to see one. Oh yeah, they got that spiky bit. But spiky bit next to spiky bit. We could do tropicals. Yeah, I could stick with all tropical things. Pomegranate's good though. What if I do pomegranate back here? Because they are bigger than kiwi. So like I could do pomegranate. Pomegranate, and then we'll do circle, because like there's the crown that would be the circle where it connects to the sphere, and then it would be the spiky crown part. Yeah, that doesn't show up super well on camera. I'll switch to a darker once I start solidifying this. What's another good tropical? Because we're sticking with tropical. Lychee. What do lychees look like? Let me save a pomegranate photo. Ooh, coconut's good too. Okay. Lychee. All spiky fruits are tropical. What? I forgot they were spiky. I knew what the insides looked like. Coconut would be cool. Let's look at coconut. See, I have the kiwi sliced open, so I don't want to do anything else cut open. Although coconut would look really good right here. Cut open. And then I don't have to do as much of the texture. Okay. I do like that. Coconut. We can have 2 cut open fruit. It's fine. I'm breaking my mental own rules for myself about how this still life should look. Alright, let's draw that. Coconut are larger, but the pineapple is going to be our largest thing, so... Coconut. Perfect. Alright, I need something here. And if it has like a thing that goes this way, that would be great. Spiky open fruits everywhere. Let's see. Passion fruit. Passion fruit, what do they look like? A gravity-defying banana. Papayas are cool looking on the inside. Everything looks so cool cut open with tropical fruits. Let me search just tropical fruit and maybe something will... Guava? Ooh, guava's a good idea. Because guavas are, my brain's not working. Green? What about... No. A fig would be cool, but figs are small and I need something bigger. Avocado. Avocado's not a bad idea, but I think it would do better more here, because it could be like... That might be a good idea. Removing the coconut. Because avocado would sit, and it can kind of lay over like this. Because it's like pear-shaped-ish. And then it gets this little top part. Move over, coconut. Avocado is here. Renee says, I'd be like, screw it, and put in a tall glass with a little umbrella. That's not a bad idea. Like, let's see. How do I want this to look? Nope, straw needs to go the other way. Do I want the straw that way? How do I want the straw? Trying to make a aesthetic choice here on how I want this to look. Renee says, I mean, it's a tall thing and you can make it whatever color you want. That's why it's a good idea. It's a great idea. I'm gonna have to double check the glass I have in my mind because I can see it, but the lines aren't working right. If this is here, this needs to sit. That's not bad. Now let's just double check some of my sizing. Ooh, that's not bad for centered either. That's pretty close. Because I'm here, and then I'm here. So it's not bad on sizing either. I can just move the pomegranate out to here. Because it's not quite the right shape anyway. And then how are we top to bottom? There's a bit more space down here I'm not thrilled about, but I have to move everything if I do that. And my other thought is I could put the coconut back here and put the avocado this way a little bit. Because then it'll bring it down and fill in a little bit more of this space if I bring it forward. And I can, because I only drew the kiwis super rough, I can move them down a little bit too. Like some grapes in the front? Okay. I'm gonna move the coconut back here. Because I did like the coconut a lot. And then I'm going to lay the avocado back here. And then we're going to move the kiwi down just a smidge because I have yay space here, yay amount of space here. And I don't want to come all the way down here, but I do want to bring these down a little bit more. Just to give everything a little bit more breathing room. How do I feel about this composition? Pretty good. All right, switching to a darker chalk pastel. Tiny fruit like blueberries at the bottom. Is there something small that's like really tropical? Mangosteen are kind of small. I think we have a good amount, so I think we're good. I feel good about the amount. Cherry tomatoes can grow. We have an 8-month resub from the Queen Thief. Thank you. It's like a fruit family photo. Yeah, it's a still life. It's like that. And then we have 300 bits from Lugia, who says, after watching your nail stream, I immediately went on Amazon to buy nail stamper and plates. I can't wait to try them all. I wish you luck. Lugia, if you're struggling with stamping, my bet is going to be your nail stamper needs to be, I forget what they call it, but I'm going to say conditioned. I don't think that's the right word. Or you need a better nail stamper. The nail stamper I got with my kit was bad, and I switched to a better nail stamper, and immediately it was like, why did I struggle with this? Like there was it felt like something was wrong with the one I had gotten with the kit. Primed? That's a good word, Kita. Haley said at some point, like if you sit it on a piece of like printer paper overnight, like stamped down to soak up some of the oil or something, that might help. So if you're struggling, it's probably the stamper. Because I struggled a lot, and then Haley was like, well, just use my stamper. And I was like, oh. Luna's book says, wait, is this a Suica painting? I had to explain to Steven what Suica was. Ellie Grace says, I'm getting ready to stamp my nails now. I just got it figured out myself. Put a ton more polish on the plate than you think. Yeah, like when you scrape it, like there's going to be polish on the plate that's not the design part, like the part that you feel like it should get scraped off. Like that's okay. It won't come up on the stamper. Like if you're looking at it and you've scraped it enough and you only see the design with polish in it, that's too much, I've noticed for myself. Demery says, what's suika? Suika is the Japanese word for watermelon, and there's a game where like the fruit falls and then like you start with like little blueberries, and when the blueberries touch, they combine and make a something. I don't remember offhand. Oh, it's melon? Just melon? Like all melon? Anyway, you're trying to combine fruit to make the biggest fruit. It's kind of like that one game with the numbers where you combine numbers and they double. Is it cherries? Is that the first one? I haven't actually played it. I'm almost out of this chalk pastel. 2048. Yeah, it's a little bit like that, but like fruit. All right, let's make these darker so we can kind of start to solidify some of these lines in. It's 2048 with fruit and round physics. Yeah, that's a good example of how that is. I didn't save, what did I need to save? I didn't save a photo of an avocado. I'll go find one. I just drew that from memory. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw these in mostly correct because we're going to do an underpainting after this, and I need to know where these lines are. And I don't need to know where every line detail is, mostly the outside and then some of the detail, like a little bit about where all of the berries of the pineapple are. So what I'm doing when I'm drawing this is I'm looking at my pineapple photo, not drawing, and I'm trying to look at where my lines are. So like the greenery comes down a little bit, and so I can kind of see where the pineapple wraps around behind it a little bit. And I'm also trying to keep in mind exactly how I've done my still life here. And the ideal thing would be to go get all of these things and set it up and like either take a photo of it or draw it myself. But I'm not. Because I kind of, when I thought I wanted to do a still life, I was like, oh, I can come up with things on the fly. But I've actually really enjoyed having everyone be like, oh, what about an avocado? Because like there's things I'm not thinking of. Like I would have never thought of putting a drink in it because I would have been like, no, fruit. But a drink is a great idea. So like I'm not going to see the rest of this, but if I draw it a little bit down, it gives me an idea of like symmetry and if the rest of my lines look right. And I'm not looking forward to drawing the greenery of the pineapple, so we're going to leave that alone for now. And move on to something else. Let's draw the coconut next. So I did a real rough circle for the coconut, but that's not really how I want to do this. I need to rotate this photo. All right. So I had drawn like the meat of the coconut, and that wasn't that bad of a drawing. Are these lines showing up better? Yeah, they're showing up much better. So like the coconut itself is quite round here, but like the one I grabbed a photo of is not cut, it's like broke, which I like because it gives it a lot more interest to look at. But it's also kind of more stuff to work on. So like here's my outside oval, and like some of this will be behind this kiwi. That's fine. Now the further backside, because it's getting tilted back, is going to have narrower for like the meat of the coconut versus the side that's closer. So thinking about like geometry like that and how things play around in space is what I'm thinking about when I'm working on this. And like there's a little bit of detail in here that'll eventually happen in the final painting. Like this part should probably stick out a bit more because it's going to make a weird shadow. And then there's a shadow inside the coconut itself. And so if this one sits on a line here, this So the other thing I have is I have a tiny brush, and I can just kind of scrub away at some of this if I'm not happy with it. Silent Companion says, is this Fruit RPG? Is Thomas here? I could also use an eraser here, but I find this is a lot more exact because I can like really get into this line and kind of push some of the chalk pastel where I want it to go. We'll let that dry. This is why I don't like using the dark chalk pastel, but you can see it a lot better. All right, we'll get back to the avocado. Let's draw the pomegranate. In this image I saved, I need to mirror. Mirror. Now these are quite round. So they have some like weird edges. Like they're not perfectly round like an orange or I don't know, some other round fruit. They have a little bit of like a pumpkin does, but not as extreme as a pumpkin. And I also think I need to rotate this a little bit. And start here because this is where I need to be on this side. They're kind of hexagonal, like there's a slight rounding to this, but there's also these edges that happen. So let's see, this would kind of sit here. That's better. I don't like where this is anymore. That's better. All right. Now I do need the eraser, just a little bit, because I put down way too much chalk. Fruit RPG Tropics DLC. Coconut Tank, Pineapple Mage, Poison Damage, Starfruit Gimmick Attacker. You're not wrong. That was something we threw around the day we were talking about that. Because it's a good idea. Alright, let's bring these kiwi back in. That's the high point. There's the right edge. And the bottom edge. So sometimes when I'm doing my ovals, I'll kind of mark, like, the cardinal directions. So I can kind of see where I need to aim. And so, like, that's not terrible for an oval or an ellipse. It just needs to be rounded out a little bit more. And this point, that looks much better. Something looks weird about this. I think it's this. Something's still weird. I'll come back to that. And I probably should have also marked this one, but it's okay. So we have these nice repeating circle shapes. And then we have to bring the avocado back in. And we have to finish the glass. I never found a photo of an avocado I liked. Let's go do that. See, this one I need to get right for how it's going to sit. And like, I want it to be very particular because I need it to like, in space. Oh, this is one of those slim cados. Well, the shape is right. And the direction I have is right. But I will make it a normal Haas avocado. So we want it to kind of sit here and here. And then it's gonna kind of sit there. So they're not quite as pinched in at the neck like a pear is. I'm still not happy with this one. This one's better, but this right kiwi I'm still not thrilled about. All right, let's find tropical drink glass. Yeah, that's exactly what I was imagining. Perfect. So because our eyeline is above this, and I know that because I can see this oval where the greenery attaches to the top of the pineapple. I can see that because it sits there, and I can see like the whole part of the crown of the pomegranate. I know this up here is where it probably is like a horizon lines like here, so it's like a little bit above. So, losing my voice all of a sudden. This ellipse up here needs to be quite level. Let me use this to explain. Here is this circle. See the circle? Like the top rim here? If this is lower in our vision, we will see more of it like this, which is why we see like so much of this and so much of this. But once it starts getting above our eye line, you see less of it and you start to see like this part only. So because our eye line is going to be more like here, because this is pretty close, this will be like straight on the edge of the rim. So we don't need to see a whole lot of this. And I think I need it to be just a smidge taller and probably level. That's not level at all. And I gotta sharpen this again. Is it a green screen backdrop I have? Nope, this is just a black fabric that I put grommets on. And then there's hooks on the top of my wall that they hook into to hang. You gotta make it a pina colada drink? All right, so let me think about color. Green, yellow, green. What would you call this? It's like dark green, black, white, brown, green, brown, red. That I might save for later and think about the color, exactly what I want it to be. Because like blue would be wild with everything else, but also like then it's not natural looking. It's like blue is unnatural looking. So pink, Broop Reap says pink. Pink might be good. Like blue would be definitely wild because it's different than everything else and would look probably the most tropical. Maddie is screaming orange. I don't have orange, so that might be something I think about as I work on other stuff, like paint other things and then be like, okay, I feel like I'm missing this, or I'll want like a repetition of a color. So that may be something I decide at some point. That's not something I have to figure out now. I just have to fill it in. Maddie's very passionate. So the fruits are pineapple, avocado, coconut, kiwi, pomegranate. Pineapple, avocado, coconut, kiwi, pomegranate. Yes. Have I considered purple? Ooh, I do like purple. Layer the drink with all the colors? That's a lot to think about. Okay, so here's my top ellipse. And is this half ruler? It's 2.5. Ooh, it's close. I was very close. I was off by 1/8 of an inch. Nope, 1/16 of an inch. This is half. So if this is my half line, I'm gonna switch to my other color. So this is the line I need to be symmetrical for this glass. So I'm going to kind of mark this in. So what it would do is it would be down here, and then we'd have the stemware down here. And I need it to sit behind the coconut over here, because it would look weird to me. Which means it will be a bit bigger down here where you don't see it anyway. But I think that means I do need to have it be larger at the top. I'm gonna take a ruler out and double check all of this in a few minutes. It feels crooked to me. That's the other thing. If it's purple, it may look too wine-like. Yeah. Where's my good ruler? Where does it run off to? Did someone in the household take it? I'm always stuck with my plastic one. And that's not the one I want. It has disappeared. We're stuck with the plastic one. Check under the cat. Does the cryptid have it? He tends to take my painter's tape most of all. So I've now made this glass 3 inches wide up top. So I need to fix that. So if this is 3 here, it needs to come all the way out to here. This is the worst ruler for this. Love it. It's my own fault. Should have looked for it. But I can draw a straighter line this way by measuring, because that is the secret to art, is math. So we are 10.5 inches here, 10.5 inches here. Yeah. So that line is straight. The other thing I should do is, because pineapple is tall, I should measure pineapple as well. Pineapple is 8. Let's go from the bottom of the canvas. 8. This is actually a centering ruler, so oh, I did pretty good on that because it comes out to here. Okay, pineapple's fine. Glass, not fine. So we're at 1 3/4, 1 3/4. Yeah, that's not bad. And if we come up here, we're at 1.5, and we should be out to here, but I'm not. This is how I do things symmetrically, is measuring. So here where it starts to get narrow, where do I want this to go? Here. 1 1/4, 1 1/4. So I should be out to here with that part of this neck. That's why it looks so weird. And this is back to 1 1/4, 1 1/4. So yeah, that's why this looks like it's falling over, is because it's not anywhere close to where it needs to be. Because this was, you can see how far this is in from this line, and if I measure this distance, it needs to be the same as this distance. That looks way better. That's the secret. Measuring. Okay. What about garnish instead of umbrella? Because, like, we could put, like, a little slice of pineapple right here. A little pineapple piece with, like, the eye. And then, like, I don't know. Because I'm looking at a photo of a glass and it has a garnish right there of this, of a pineapple and some greenery, and then it has a cherry. Because like umbrella, I think umbrella's gonna get lost. And if I do it right, like the way a drink is done, umbrella goes into like other garnish and then umbrella would be like up here on top of that. And I think that's too close to the top. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think I like that. I could do bigger garnish than pineapple. Like I could do like orange. Cause like, then we have nice bright orange. And then we have like straw. Cause like, I know there's no oranges in here, but then that brings orange to the painting. I could also do like lemon or grapefruit or orange or something else. Lime. I think people are liking something different than the pineapple. So yeah, let's keep that there. And what I need to do is, because of how this would sit on the rim of the glass, like the center of it would sit closer to this. So I need to mark it out from there. And this will probably be my only mostly circle shape. I don't know if that'll look weird or not then, because if it's the only like perfect-ish circle on here. But if we were posing this, we would do that. So I think it's fine. All right, things I need to do. This, and I need to fix this kiwi because this kiwi is bothering me a lot. Are grapefruits tropical? Yeah, grapefruits are bigger than this though, because grapefruits are more the size of this pomegranate, which is quite big, but that's fine. What am I doing? Kiwi. Kiwi photo. See, you are crooked. You need to sit more up. Kiwi was the one I'm most excited for, so I'm going to struggle to draw it. And I think I'm just thinking about kiwi and not drawing kiwi. Like, that's better. Okay, this one's better. What's wrong with this one? You are too high. You need to come down. Oh yeah, you are all sorts of not right. I don't want to erase it entirely because I want to see what I did wrong. So the bottom lip should be more here. And then arch back here, because I had it up here. I'm putting so much chalk on this canvas. That feels better. This isn't right. All right, what's wrong with this part? Because if kiwi cut this way, kiwi bring back from there. It's this back part. That's still not right. because this part should come all the way through this way. So this is where it should be. But now it feels like it's rotated wrong. That feels better. Like it looks more correct. Yes, much better. Okay. Circle should be there. Circle should be there. There. Is having chalk on the canvas bad? That's a really good question. You don't want to have too much. And I will be going through and getting rid of some of this once I'm done drawing entirely. Omega Kayla gifted a sub to PrimeButt TTV. Thank you. Thank you for the gift sub. We will get to paint today because I need it to dry overnight. Or at least for a couple days. At the very least overnight, rather. Alright. I don't know about where the straw is going to go yet. I'm not worried about that for the part I'm doing next. So this line should continue up. So this should be kind of the straight line through the greenery of the pineapple. So I want it to only be about yay tall. So I can't go taller than that. So we need to start drawing in some of these spiky leaves. Like I said, this is the part I'm gonna be regretting, aren't I? And I'm just trying to get an idea of like where they go and how wide out they go from the pineapple, because they will get actually drawn in later. And then there'll be some that sit internally here eventually. Okay, how do I feel about this overall? Pretty good. All right, let's erase some chalk. So I don't need this line. And I definitely don't need it up here. And I'm not super worried if I lose a little bit of this, like I did right here accidentally. That's fine. Garage door scared me. Definitely need to get rid of this line. Vagabond God? Rumble, rumble. Is that God giving feedback? No, that's just Brandon leaving. like it. Your canvas has rumble pack support? It's time to paint. Okay. We have an 8-month resub from Ryan B06. Thank you. Thank you for the resub. All right, what color do I want? Where are all my neutral colors? Are you neutral colors? You are neutral colors. Let's see, I have to decide exactly what I'm going to do for my underpainting. And I think I know, not that. That's glitter. Where is it? It is none of these. Is it in this grouping? No. Those are cooler neutrals. Those are violets. Is it in orange or yellow for some reason? Is this what I wanted? I think that's what I want. Let's check yellows, just to be sure. I think that is what I want. I'm right above the garage, if you couldn't guess. That's what that is. Will this painting be done today? No, it will not, Hugh. I'm going to do an underpainting on this, which I'll talk about in a second once I decide what color I want to use. And then it'll need to dry. And we will come back to it another day. The other thing about this room is because it's right over the garage, it gets cold. So like the floor is very cold on my feet. All right, for an underpainting, you can do lots of different things for an underpainting. I could go with cool colors, or like, I could even go like a bright pink or bright blue if I wanted. And whatever color I end up doing the final painting in, some of that's going to show through and it will affect my final colors on things. So I should have thought about this ahead of time if I wanted to go a bit more realistic and do something a bit warmer, or if I wanted to really make the colors pop. How tropical do we want this to look? How garish do we want it to be? I agree with purple. Purple? Okay, we could do something fun too, because I was going to do transparent iron oxide, which is a warm color. It's like this, but oranger. But we could also do something like ridiculously bright for fun, because Cyber Snake said, I agree with purple, and I was like, it could be fun. Please go insane. Okay, that might be fun. Like I said earlier, I struggle with making mistakes because I'm like, do I really want to ruin it? But am I going to ruin it? No, it's just going to look totally different than I had pictured it. All right, let's put all these neutrals back or on the floor. For fun, the best reason for anything. That's right. So I have Cobalt Violet Hue. That might not be a great one because it's a hue. Do I have anything pure pigment in this family? Konak? No. So I have Doxine Violet, which is a pure pigment, which is kind of what I'm looking for this because it already has some transparency. It's a bit more of an indigo violet than a warm violet. Like this Cobalt Violet hue is a lot warmer. I don't know how well you can see that. And the Doxine is more blue. Summery. Do I have any wood pink? I don't normally keep pink paint. I could do Pyrrole. That might be good. What if I do Pyrrole Orange? It's like high vis orange for this. or should I do a bright blue? This is an underpainting, remember. So what it's going to do is it's going to affect the final colors of everything. It's not going to, it might be visible a little bit, but it's going to be, can't use that one. I don't want to deal with anything toxic right now. Like ultramarine might be fun because it's bright blue. And it's going to be, this will cool down the painting because it's blue. Whereas Pyrrole Orange will warm it up. I wish I had a bright pink, but I don't. I don't know why I don't. I have a Pyrrole Red. I don't want to use that. You should put it on the cold floor. All right, I'm thinking orange or blue. I would say light orange, but more muted than bright. Maybe orange to bring out the warms in the pineapple and the kiwi. That will make it look warmer. Okay, I think I'm gonna do that. All right, so I need Pyrrole. Do I happen to have this in a liquid? I don't. Oh, I do have this in pink. I could do that. Sorry, I have pink too. I forgot I have liquid pink. Pink, yeah, I forgot I had liquid pink. I think we should do pink. Pink, okay. I'm looking for things I need to add to this. Open. Hello. We want this. And we need some brushes. This is a good one. This is a good one. I'm realizing I don't have anything good between this and like a really big paintbrush. You're too soft for what I want. You're about the same size. That may be my next brush purchase, is something between this and this. This will have to do. It will be fine. We will just take a little bit more time. We're the fairy godmother's pink. No blue, no orange. All right, you are the same, right? Quinnac Magenta. One of you just looks lighter in color. Clearly the solution is half pink, half blue. You're not wrong. We can still do that. Do I have a good blue? What do I have? Little blue green, ultramarine, yeah. Okay. We'll start with pink, because I gotta lay that down first anyway. Can we? So the thing about these high flow containers is they have these little twisty lids, is the paint sometimes covers that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a solution of the paint. This one's empty. Why didn't I throw that away? This one's open. When Parthy says, oh my gosh, I was kidding, but that would be so fun actually. It is fun, and it is a good thing to do, so I'm really glad you said that. Okay, so I'm putting some of this quinacridone magenta in a container. You can kind of see it on top of the black. And I'm going to put in some of this. This is retarder. Different companies call it different things. It varies the open time of the paint, so it'll keep it wet longer. And then this is gloss glazing liquid, which will thin down the paint. You don't want to use water to thin down the paint. This is basically just clear paint. And I need this to be very transparent. And then I'm just going to mix this up, and then we'll test it on my paper. Or the canvas, because why not? And because this is an underpainting, I'm not super concerned about a lot. Where did that go? I am going to wet my brush, but I am going to wipe off all the water and touch it to paper towel. Okay, that's pretty transparent. I think I go a little bit more. So I'm going to add more glazing liquid. We had an 8-month resub from Starry Knox. Thank you. Thanks for joining us tonight. So if you've ever painted watercolors, the way I was taught to paint watercolors was to, sorry, this is the worst noise, I agree. I was taught to start with like a very transparent yellow and then work into darker yellows and oranges and then working darker from there around the color wheel. Ooh, this is exciting for this. That is just barely more transparent. Whoops. I'm almost out of this, but I think I have more. Because it's something I use a lot, I buy it in big bottles. Okay, that's a little better. All right. So I have my transparent Quinac magenta mix, and I'm going to start with my larger brush. And my goal for this is to kind of just fill in large parts of the painting with it. And then once I have a good amount of this on here, I'm going to make it less transparent and do a little bit of shading with it, like a monochrome thing in a way. So I have to decide where my light's coming from because that's not something I did. I think the light would be best coming from the left based solely on the pomegranate, because then I get a little bit of light here on the pineapple, a little bit on the avocado. It's going to light the face of this kiwi. A little bit here, a little bit here. So I kind of think that. So we're going to start by painting our lightest colors, this lightest pink we have there. I didn't wet this brush. And this is an underpainting, so it's okay if things are a little off. We'll get back to it later. And like, I know I drew this pomegranate a little angled, that's fine. So if the light's coming from the left, the lightest part of the glass is going to be here. Can't accidentally paint on that yet. And you can kind of see how the chalk is like making things dirty. That's fine. Part of the job of the underpainting is to seal all that in and make sure it doesn't move around later when I'm doing the rest of the painting. And I really want to make sure I get this orange or whatever we're doing here, because I really want it to be like super bright and transparent, like almost illuminated, because it's going to be thin, so you'll see some light through it. Do I have to fill in one fruit at a time instead of painting across the area? I'm doing that so I don't smear all of my chalk lines completely. And after I get through this first layer, I'm going to darken this up and start adding a little bit of shadow. And then we'll start to add some blue into the deepest shadows. That's the plan. So like you'll see I'm kind of like keeping a little bit of gap here. And then I'll just kind of go up and touch it a little bit. Because it's going to take some of that chalk and make the pink darker. And it's already kind of muddying the pink a little bit, but that's fine. And like this part here is going to be totally in shadow, so it will be blue later. But that's okay. We might need a little bit of pink in that too. It'll probably turn a bit more violet in the shadow areas. The other reason you want to do an underpainting is sometimes when you're putting paint down, you'll get little pinpricks of canvas showing through, of like the white blank canvas, like a little tiny air pocket got stuck. And like on a final painting, when you're doing like a sky or something, that's not really what you want to see. So like an underpainting, because it's a bit thinner, because I'm using this glazing liquid to make it thin, is going to sink into those pockets a lot easier. Ooh, this is a nice song for painting. It's like underwear for paintings. A little bit. That's a good analogy. Also, I'm going to see a little bit of these brush strokes later after it dries, so I'll know kind of where my lines were because of that as well, in case I lose some of the chalk. Something about this avocado, but I think it's the brush strokes that are throwing me off. That's better. You can tell I'm skipping the greenery of the pineapple because it makes me nervous. This part back here is going to be a lot darker. So let's just use a little bit more paint and fill that in. So each one of these is going to have to be a spike eventually because of how I'm doing this. That's fine. Cool. Did you guys hear him sneeze? Was he that loud? Yes, he is that loud. We heard you leave, Brandon. We heard the garage door. That's how far away. How far away is he? Oh, he's across the, like, we're on the same floor. Oops, sorry. We're gonna hear the garage door no matter what. It was God speaking to us, telling me that the painting was done. What kind of art piece is this? This is acrylic paints. I am doing a tropical fruit still life. Alright, so what I'm doing next is I did my first layer in the most transparent pink color, and then I promptly got it all over my hands. And then we're going to do another layer and start to fill in a little bit of shadows. And then might do a third layer, and then we'll start to fill in the blue of the actual shadow parts, because that's going to be in blue because it'll be cooler shadows. I think I want to use the same brush because it worked fine. So let's compare these so you can see. So this was like my first layer here. And so this will be my second layer. You can see how much darker that is. So we're not going to put this everywhere, unlike the last one. This is only going in some areas. And I'm going to start with the shadows even though they will be blue later, because I'm going to work my way into where I want this to be. So if you think about when you shade a sphere, you get like the highlight here, and then it significantly gets darker until it's over here in the shadow. So I'm trying to kind of mimic that a little bit, doing monochrome. And like this part down here is going to get in the shadow because like the kiwi and stuff are going to cast a shadow onto it. So you can kind of see how it's taking a little bit more shape now with these other layers. What did I do next? This maybe? I don't know, this is dry enough to do another layer, so we're moving to it next. And because my light's coming from this way, a lot of this part will be in shadow, so I just painted it darker. All right, what is dry-ish? The cup? All right, pineapple is next dry. I'm also doing a little bit of detail, like I did the rim of the orange, just to bring a little bit into it. Because that'll help me see things later. All right, I got 2 more and then the greenery. So I know the inside of the coconut's going to be a lot darker. And then where the actual meat part is, that part is also light, so we're going to try and leave that alone. Problem is I put the paint down a little too thick and it's going to take forever to dry. You can kind of see how like the monochrome is starting to come together, so you can actually see what you're looking at now. Which is good. That first layer is a little tricky sometimes because of that. Like, I kind of lost some of the kiwi, but that's fine. Our next layer, it will help. So, more quinacridone. And I picked this because I wanted something that was a pure pigment, like I said earlier. Those tend to be a bit more transparent. Probably should have just used plain. Nah. And that's more of what we're looking. Brandon says, I'm tuning in a bit late. What is the theory behind doing this monochromatic underpainting first? So there's a few reasons. When you put down paint first, you get little air pockets. There's a name for it, but I'm blanking on the name. And this helps fill those in because the paint is thinner, so it kind of seeps down into where those little air bubbles form and then later pop. And then they make little tiny air pockets. It helps solidify in where my lines are, and then it also gives the final painting an overall feel. So we went with a warm color. And we're gonna put in a blue color for the shadow to make the shadows cooler, which is really going to intensify the entire painting because it's going to be very warm from the pink, but then the blues and the shadows are going to push whatever color is there later cooler. So it's going to really intensify it because we're doing all tropical stuff. So there's a few reasons. All right, so my third layer. So this was our first layer, and this was our second. And then this is our third layer. So you can kind of see, I think it needs to be a little darker. A little bit more. But our third layer is going to be the last pink one. Brandon said, so it's like a saturation slider IRL. It can be. It can also work the opposite and desaturate a piece. So if I picked like opposite colors, it would desaturate it. So I would have to think about it like I would have to do red for the green, and then for the green would also be red, and then like this orange or lemon slice would have to be the opposite. So I'd have to do it violet or blue, and then when I put the yellow or the orange down, it will nullify it a little bit. So it can. You have to think about like what you want to do. And because we picked tropical, we decided to go bright. This kiwi is dry. I don't think I'm going to do as many blue layers because I don't think it needs as much. And like some of this pink in the green areas is probably going to neutralize it a little bit, but that's okay. I kind of lost a little bit of that there in the cup, but that's okay. When Parthy says, "Oh, this got very intense. Is it the music?" Brandon said, you never got to do much underpaint stuff for MalMakes YouTube. Was that a time thing or something new you thought to try? It's partially both. Sometimes I feel like it works better than others depending on what I'm painting. Like, sometimes it's fun and it works really well, and sometimes it's, I don't need this. And I was talking earlier, before you were here, Brandon, about how hard it is sometimes to let yourself make mistakes, and that was like I was going to do this in maybe a sienna or a, I forgot the color I had picked out, but that would have really made it a bit more like a traditional still life if I had gone that route. And someone's like, what about purple and pink? And we were like, that would make it a lot more intense. Why not? So that's what we ended up doing. So we're letting ourselves be a little messy with this and seeing what happens. Did I do a second layer here? I didn't. That's fine. Handsome Mama says, we are excited. I can't wait to add blue. Probably should have put a little detail into the pineapple before I did this and followed a little bit of that detail with the berries, but I didn't. That's fine. Alright, let's make a little more sense of some of this. We're not, but it'll make sense later. I hope. Yeah, it doesn't make sense yet. We're just filling in random pink. Okay. Now I still have a lot of pink here, and that's fine. I need to do the background, but I'm not going to do that yet. I really want to put blue on it. And then we'll do the background. And then we will do the shadows of the background. Break All the Pot says, trust the process. That's really hard sometimes. You gotta, but it's really hard sometimes. It's like, but I don't like it. But I will. So I bought these things. I gotta find one that's like relatively clean or already has blue on it maybe. Oh, that one's really clean. So these are meant for watercolor, and they're easy to clean when you use watercolor, but when you use acrylic on ceramic, it does not come off. I learned it the hard way. But I do like them. What I need to know, or need to do, is I need to... Hi. I need to really clean them and get some of this acrylic off. But it's like really stuck on here, so it's not going to hurt anything by using it. So it's fine. It will all be fine. And I need less blue, so I'm going to use the other side. Dude says, peer pressure sometimes is a good thing. That's why this is pink and blue. And honestly, the blue's going to turn out quite violet, so I'm just warning you all ahead of time. Because it's on top of the pink. But I did go with ultramarine, which is a cooler blue than the phthalo I have. This is probably one of my favorite pigments, is ultramarine blue. It's just so pretty. That and Dogsing purple. Those are probably my favorite too. Palette knife, right in front of me. So I'm going to do 2 blue instead of the 3 that I had done for the pink. Because it's going to be so different than the pink that I don't need to go that much crazier on it. Stay there this time, don't fall on me. Alright, so our first blue layer, we're going to put across the bottom. That might be too light. It's too light. Try again. That works. That'll be our first one. See, we got purple. It's a visual mix. It's not a true mix because if I mixed them together and then put it on, that would be a true mix. So it's a visual mix. All right, I don't want to put this everywhere. So like the front of this kiwi is in light, so I don't want that there. So this is just going to get a few where we need it. And this first layer is still quite transparent, so it's very subtle. We need to make sure we shade here where the kiwi's going to cast a shadow on the pomegranate. You can really see how that stands out now. And I am pushing a little bit of the color aside because it's not dry yet. What's a good one to do next? Not you, not you. Not you, okay. It's actually kind of fun monochrome. Well, it's not monochrome anymore. But these Fauvist colors. Too wet. Better. And I think I lost some in the glass because of how much pink I put on it. But I think the blue will pull it back a little bit here. And I might keep some of this blue on the greenery here to the right side for the most part, because this part will be more in shadow than the other side. See how I'm pulling this color up right behind the tip of the brush, or the back of the brush here? I don't know if you guys can tell that that's happening, but it's because the pink is wet. I'm not happy about it, but it's fine. Renee says it's honestly kind of like magic how it's coming together. It's almost leaping off the page. That is kind of the cool part, is like once you start to get multiple layers in, you're like, oh, there's shape here. Shapes are great. All right, I gotta do inside this. And I know this part is very wet, so it's not helping me. My water is a really pretty shade of purple. It matches this. So, like I said, this is really wet in some places, and when I put the blue down, it's pulling the pink up, and I'm not happy about that. So I'm thinking I might put down some of the background stuff while we wait on some of this to dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of fill things in. Just to fill in canvas, because I do have a lot of this pink color. I should water this down more. It's too dark. And I'm just trying to fill in the canvas because I have a lot of it. And I need to fill in the painting. And I need it to be a color anyway. And like I said, water down, I mean using the clear paint, not water. Brandon says, Mal is surrounded by water she can't drink. I have this. One of the reasons I sometimes pick a can of something over a bottle is that it doesn't look like my paint water. So because this is transparent, I'm not afraid of getting close to this pink line, because that's already there. Hi. What are you? Go away. And I'm going to kind of feather this out, and I'll come back in with a larger brush. And I haven't decided what I'm going to do in the background yet, if I'm going to do a solid color or like a sky or something. That's a problem for future Mallory. So like there's a little bit of white canvas right here, so I'm just trying to fill in that sort of thing. I'm trying to get rid of a lot of these brush strokes too, or at least most of them. Sapphire Becca says, future Mal will be mad. Yes. I know these will have a shadow on the ground, and when I get back to painting blue again, I will put that in. But for now, I need all of this to dry, so this is a good time to do the background. That noise is awful too. Like in here, this is going to be a deep shadow in this tiny gap right here. There's another speck of dark something. Is that coming from the paint that I thought was adhered to these ceramic cups? I think it is. I know what I need to do to clean them. I need to put a clear paint layer on them and then peel it off. That's what I have to do. But I have like 6 of them, and that will take time. Which is, again, a future me problem. That's why I have that problem now. We're making good progress filling in the pink, though. Brandon says, future you will have a limited option set, right? That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine for a while. When I did the first still life painting, the Animal Crossing one, I think I did an underpainting for that one, and I think I didn't do the background with the underpainting. I think I just filled that in like burnt umber or something. And then I had to paint on top of that a little bit, and that was kind of a pain. Sapphire Becca says, yeah, definitely umber. Yeah, I did something like that. Losing some of this. That's fine. So you can kind of see like the white specks where like there's paint on the canvas, but you're seeing the texture. That's what I'm trying to avoid later in some of these areas. This area, I'll get to that later. I'm going to switch to a bigger brush for that part. For now, I'm just trying to fill in pink. Sapphire Becca says, loving this, by the way. All my underpaintings have been Umber Sienna, and it gets samey. Yeah. That's why when someone reminded me you don't have to do that, I was like, oh yeah. I should not. I was just talking about how scared I am sometimes to make mistakes. I should try something different, because why not? Because I did some of this blue in here, I'm not super worried about losing all of the greenery for the pineapple. I'm gonna lose some of it, but that's fine. Let's just fill this part in up here. We had an 8-month resub from WonderJ13. Thank you. XD Symphony says, it looks kind of really cool all monochrome. It does. Like, there's something neat about it, and like even like these paint swipes on the edges look kind of neat. So like there are qualities about this that are fun and different, and that if I really took my time and worked at this, doing it this way, like switching to smaller brushes, which I'm not at all, and painted it slightly more like the Tsushima painting, that this could, like, I could have done this and just kept pushing it that way and it would have been really neat. Like, those are ways I can go about painting. But I didn't think about that ahead of time, so I have to live with those consequences. There, we filled that in nice. I got paint on my hand. That's not fully clean yet. I'll come back to that. Bigger brush. Like I said, I wasn't happy with any of my larger brushes that I had. I have a 1-inch. We'll go with that. This isn't the best brush for this, as it is large. And it's also a bristle. There's another black speck. So you hear when I do that, there's a top bar that can come down and clip, but then it clips like right here, and then I have to repaint that later. And I don't like doing that. The problem with bristle brushes is they leave bristles everywhere. So if you do makeup, to me this kind of feels like putting on blush. You see the big bristle right here? Oh, these are eraser shavings getting in here now. Go away. Let's fix that. Do I have enough paint? Ooh. Ooh. We might not have enough paint to finish this. See these black spots? Current me is mad at past me. Let's fill this in more so I can see them. If you kind of push away with your brush, you can pick things up. I can also just scrape at the canvas a little bit. Alright, it's all pink. It looks ridiculous. So we did lose some of that cooler stuff that we had going on, but that's okay. I didn't do the sides, so we're just going to put a little bit there. I just got paint all over the floor. That's why I have a drop cloth. Also, yes, I did run out of paint. One of the things I've noticed in using canvases for however long I've been doing this, the edges don't seem to hold paint the same as the surface. And I haven't quite figured out why. Oh, that was a mistake. Okay. We'll put a thumbprint there and then we'll fix it. It's like there's a material on them that makes them slightly water repellent or something. And maybe it's because they have the wood behind it instead of like nothing. Shoot, I have pink everywhere. Okay, I'm just gonna let that brush soak for all of a few minutes and clean off my hands. Where'd my towel go? It's so pink. It's so pink. But there's some really cool things happening, right? So like, it feels very Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Like, I'm really happy with the edge where the meat is for the coconut, and I'm liking what's happening here, and I'm liking what's happening here, and I'm really liking what's happening with the citrus slice. Like, those are the parts I'm really liking right now. And when I add the next layer of blue in, and I'm gonna add some blue down here into this shadow, onto the ground, that's really gonna help. I'm trying to get some of the pink off my hand so I don't accidentally get something else pink. I also have pink on my toes now from where I dropped that paintbrush. XD Symphony says, if you didn't paint your hands, did you really paint it all? True. The teacher I did student teaching under was a ceramicist, and she was amazing. She did like summer workshops where they would build in-ground kilns that were like, I don't know, the size of a house. Like, they were huge, and then they would, all summer, they would like have this camp essentially for people, and they would make pottery all summer and like throw on the wheel and hand build and do all this stuff, and at the end they would put it all in this ground kiln and fire it with wood by hand. And it took, I think she said 48 hours, just constant loading of wood, and they would like take turns who was working it until it got up to temperature and everything inside was up to temp. And then, you know, you let it cool down naturally, and then you, when it's cool enough, you can open it, and then you have all your pottery. I don't think they do it anymore. I also have pink on my toes. Let's clean that off a little bit. That's better. It only splattered. I didn't get a ton of paint on my feet. Okay. This part is still a little tacky, but it's drier than it had been. So I'm hoping if I put down some more blue, it won't be a problem. Because this is the last thing I really have to do. Oh, I should probably clean this brush out and not let it soak like a responsible painter. I will wash it out completely when the stream is over. I see you painted your nails again this stream. Yeah. Trill Girl says, it reminds me of my metal foundry class did an iron pour. We made our own furnace with the teacher and his wife and took turns loading the furnace and pouring the iron into our molds. That's super cool. When we toured Sloss Furnace in Birmingham with Alex and Haley, it was a pig iron foundry. So like I got to see how that was done. They didn't demonstrate it, but there was like photos and video of how it was done. And it was really neat to see that. All right, my last layer for today. Actually, for the entire underpainting, really. All right, let's see how dark this blue is, and if I made it dark enough. Where'd my sketchbook go? One of the cool things I think I did, like in art period, was we did a raku fire where a student taught. Like I said, she was a ceramicist. That's where she put a lot of the money into for the budget. And so I got to do a raku fire, and that was super cool. All right, so this is layer blue, and this is the second layer blue. And I think it needs to maybe be more blue. How do I feel about that? A little bit more. And the worst thing about that experience with the raku fire is that you really have to scrub the pottery when it's done because it's covered in like ashes. And what you do in a raku fire is you use special raku glaze. And I honestly don't know what was special about it. I can't remember. It's been a long time. But when you're, like, it gets up to temperature, you open the kiln, and what that sort of kiln does is instead of, like, the lid opening, the whole body of the kiln comes up, and then you take your tongs and you grab pieces, and then you put them in different materials to give different effects. So, like, one of the most common ones is to, like, very carefully, because it's, like, 1500 degrees, drape horsehair over it, and it kind of burns, like, a pattern into the pottery. So, like, that's a really big... That's much better. That's a really common one to do. And then some of the glazes will do things like look like copper, but you really have to scrub that. You heard raccoon fire? Raku, R-A-K-U. It's a Japanese ceramics technique. Okay, last layer. What is a good amount of dry? This. And these don't start from the base. That's my own fault, I know that. Yeah, this is gonna be a pain for me later. It's okay. And I don't want to overdo it with this blue. And as I brush it out into the rest of this, it's going to turn purpler. Oh, that blue is real nice now. Like with how blue it is. Let's not get my hair in this. Let me get a bristle. blue. Chaz says, this blue is nice. What's nice about it? How blue it is. Look how nice it is. It's so blue. It's ultramarine. It's great. Oh no, don't go there. We don't want you to be there on the pomegranate yet. Just on the glass. Oh, that's wet. I'm glad I pulled my sleeves back. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I look at things and I'm like, that is a pretty color. Most of the time. I'm not sure about how I feel about the painting on this kiwi for the underpainting in particular. But when I start to paint it green, I think it'll come together right, how I want it to be. And I think that's okay. All right, the last thing I want to do on this for today is I want to put in the shadow on the ground here. So I need to think about what I want to do. So I'm kind of thinking, because it's tropical, of putting like just like sort of like sky, ocean, sand or table here, just to kind of fill it in. I think this needs to be just a little bit rounder in this direction. And maybe also this direction. Okay, it's fine. Let's see. We have a 7-month resub from Cabry29. Thank you. Penguin Frog says, how does it feel to stream and talk to us versus painting alone? So when I paint alone, I do get to listen to music or podcasts, which is nice. But like, it's also kind of fun to just talk and like get feedback from people. Sky sand might be a nice contrast to all the bright fruits with the drink. So yeah, if I do a sky, I'm thinking like ultra light blue. Like almost like barely noticeable that it's blue. So if I do that and bring it straight down, like I could just sort of have like a table or like a line that's kind of more brownish sit here just for it something to sit on. So if I do that, I think I want it to sit about yay high. And I could throw a little bit of darker blue in between that and like here to be more oceany. But I should... No, I don't have to block that in. I just have to block in the table. Or not the table, the shadow. Light. I think I need more gloss glazing. I have to get another bottle out of the thing. I don't want to do too much on the background because it's going to be distracting, I think. So I just want to do a little bit. But right now I'm just going to throw in some shadows. Just to give this something to sit on for now. I'll make sure I do these level. Found another bristle. This brush is too big for what I want. We will switch. We have an 8-month resub from runt.exe. Thank you. Remember how I said this tiny little space would be dark blue for sure? Do we have another hype train? I painted so long that we ended up with a second hype train. I'm just trying to darken up a little bit more in some of these spaces. But it's wet, so all it's doing is like pulling up the other color. So I'm not happy about that. Is it record stream length? I'm sorry, Chaz. I'm almost done. I'm seriously just putting a few more of the blue in. So this is just some pure ultramarine blue. It's not watered, well, not watered down. Oh, I forgot to add blue here. We will fix that. I just felt like some of these areas needed a little bit more blue. Cool. I still have a lot of blue left. That's fine. Where did my 4-dye go? We have 200 bits from Penguin Frog. Thank you. All right, I'm going to use up this paint quick by putting it on this dried acrylic that I have. This is just acrylic paint that I've been painting on top of for a very long time. And it has lots of layers, and someday I hope to cut it open and see how it looks. And then I don't know. It's what I do with it. And I didn't get to the second canvas, but I honestly thought this would go faster. But I also didn't expect to do a 2-color underpainting, but I'm really happy with it. Like, it looks super cool. So everything is fine in the end. Slice it open and frame it. So I have cut little pieces off with the scissors, and you can see some of the different layers. You have to be super close to it, but it's neat. I don't know. Oh, I just cleaned my brushes and all right, we'll scoop this on with a palette knife. So this is one way I try not to waste paint. If I knew I would need more of this blue, which I don't, I would put a piece of plastic wrap on it. And it would be good for a few days. Maybe up to a week if I do it well. So I just like put the blue on, and then I'm just going to use the knife to spread it. And because this is thinner, it's actually going to fill in some of these little tiny gaps I've left. Wonderful. So now the blue's on there, and that'll dry. All right. Responsible painter cleaned off all her things. And I won't get it everywhere. Brandon says the underpainting turned out really well. How do you feel about canvas size? Too large, too small, just right? So that was something when Brandon was still here, he was helping set up, that we talked about. Was like, I had 8x10s and I had 18x24s. And I think I have some 4x6s over there. Like, a 4x6 would have been this big, and like I could have worked on it. And an 8x10 is about this big, and like the ratio of everything would have scaled. But honestly, I really enjoy working the size, and I think it's like, well, this is how we set up for the size. So I think it works really well. And obviously I will be coming back to this to start adding other stuff into it. So I'm happy with it. And I'm happy with how much space, like when we were measuring earlier, because I was like, okay, well, we got this much space here. And so I had to move the pomegranate a little bit, and then I was like here, and then we moved a kiwi down. So I think the ratio of everything is really good. So I'm happy with all of that. Let me get the rest of the paint off my hands. In the meantime, I'm gonna run my Patreon ticker. Thank you to all my patrons who have been supporting me. I am very happy to get back into painting. I know with recovery it was hard. I was worried about moving my shoulder because I've been having rotator cuff problems with like this muscle here on your shoulder, but also like healing from surgery. I was worried about it. I kind of wanted to do a painting off camera just to see how I felt about it. But I decided not to because I got a bike and I've been bike riding and that's been fine. So I was like, I can paint if I can bike ride. So thank you to my patrons for your support. If you are interested in supporting me and the perks that come with that, and the main one of which is Discord, you can become a patron at the $10 level for me or Steven. They both go to the same Discord, all the same access to everything in there. Valix says, how are you feeling doing this long of a stream with your recovery? Good. Like, that part all feels good. I am tired because it is my third stream today and I went on like an hour bike ride. Brandon says, at the very least you can paint with your leg muscles. Not after the bike rides. We went 11 miles yesterday and like 6 today. So my legs are very tired. All right, I got all the paint off. All the paint is off. Cool. So, thankfully no streams tomorrow. No, but I do have an appointment, and that's it. Brandon says, let me know when you're ready for 11 hours. We'll see how I feel when it's slightly warmer out, and I've gotten more stamina. Alright, do we have a raid message? Is anyone I know streaming? I am going to obviously let this dry. I will come back to it. We'll start painting normal colors on it that aren't fauvism. Rip Big Kiwi. Let's see. Masay is live. Yeah, let's raid Masay. With, let's just use Big Kiwi and you guys can explain and Masay will totally understand how that goes. Because Masay does art as well. And yes, you can use BEEG Kiwi if you want. But thanks everyone for being here. There will be more painting soon, probably next week sometime. I'm not sure what day yet. It might depend on a few things, but I will be painting next week. So thanks for being here. Go tell Masay Big Kiwi. And then explain if you want, because Masay will understand that the kiwi is too big. Alright, have a good night. See you guys later. Oh, oops, I have it on audio only. Or chat only. Let's fix that. Masay is playing Dark Souls. And I lose my chat because I don't have it set up right. Hello, Masay. Masay thinks I'm cooking. So secret she can't say is I pulled it up. I fixed it. I love Masay's countermeasures. They're real cute. All right. We have been perceived. You have been perceived in Masay's chat. All right, let's put phone away from wet paint. Oh, I forgot. My monitor, my computer's here and my monitor's there, and you think moving the mouse this way would bring it to my monitor, but they're switched because of, I don't know, extra life or something. So, I keep forgetting that's where they are. I'll fix that next time. All right, have a good night, everyone. Thanks for being here.